Alright, imagine this. I'm about to tell you a story you probably won't forget. It starts like a cute, whimsical adventure with a friendly alien octopus, but it quickly turns into something far darker, something painfully real. It's like someone took all the innocence of a fairy tale and smashed it against the harsh wall of reality. So, here's how it begins. One day, from the sky, a strange little creature descends to Earth, a small, cheerful octopus named Takopi. He's from another planet called Hapiana, where everyone smiles, laughs, and shares joy with one another. He's armed with a collection of happiness gadgets, and he arrives full of excitement, ready to spread happiness to the humans. His grand entrance is like something out of a cartoon. "I've come from the planet Hapiana. Now everyone will be happy," he declares, beaming with joy. He lands near a beach in Japan, close to a town, and soon encounters a girl named Shizuka Kuruma. A schoolgirl who looks like happiness is a completely foreign concept to her. She's standing alone by the shore, the ocean water brushing her feet, her expression completely blank, like she gave up on life a long time ago. She doesn't scream or panic at the sight of a talking octopus. Instead, she just stares and calmly says, "Are you an octopus?" Takopi waves his little tentacles and cheerfully replies, "I'm Takopi. I've come to make you happy." But Shizuka doesn't smile. Not even a twitch of emotion. It's like her face is frozen. Takopi decides she's going to be his first happiness mission, and sticks to her like glue. He follows her around, even to school. Adults can't seem to see him. Only children can, it seems. He tries using different gadgets, one that makes funny sounds, another that releases calming smells, even one that creates little illusions to entertain people. But nothing works. Shizuka doesn't laugh, doesn't even react. And the more time he spends with her, the more horrifying her world turns out to be. At school, she's bullied. Not just teased, but brutally targeted. Her desk is vandalized, her textbooks destroyed, garbage stuffed into her shoes. The teachers look the other way. Her classmates pretend not to notice, and at home it's worse. Her mother ignores her completely, barely acknowledging her existence. She just sits with a cigarette in hand, eyes glued to the television. Occasionally, she mutters something like, "You came back again." Takopi is stunned. Why are humans so sad? Why are they so angry? He assumes the problem is simple, they just don't have happiness gadgets. So he starts using them more aggressively. One day he gives Shizuka a magical notebook gadget where whatever you write becomes reality. She slowly writes, "I want Mom to talk to me again." And it works. Her mom starts talking, but not with warmth. She starts yelling, blaming, screaming. The silence was cold, but this is cruel. This isn't happiness. It's just pain. Takopi is shaken. His belief in universal happiness begins to crack. But he doesn't give up. He notices that Shizuka always carries around an old, torn, stuffed dolphin. It's barely holding together, but she never lets go of it. One day, he asks, "Why do you always carry that?" She replies softly, "He's my little brother. I promised we'd always be together." That line hits like a punch to the chest. You feel it. Something happened in her past, something devastating. And then there's Mari Satsumi, a classmate who used to be Shizuka's friend, but is now her worst tormentor. Takopi watches as Mari pushes Shizuka around, laughs at her, steals her things. And for the first time, this kind and innocent creature feels something strange anger. He doesn't understand why someone would treat another person like that. So he goes up to Mari one day when she's alone and naively says, "You're bad, really bad. Why don't you want to be happy too?" Mari kicks him hard and spits back, "Shut up, you freak." And in that moment, Takopi starts thinking, maybe I should fix this another way. He begins to wonder if the problem itself, Mari, needs to be erased. And this is where it gets truly chilling. Because you realize this sweet, clueless octopus might actually do something irreversible, thinking it's for the greater good. He doesn't know the rules. He doesn't know what death means. But he wants to help, no matter what. At this point, the story has completely flipped. What started out as a bubbly alien on Earth tale has turned into a tightly wound ball of grief, trauma, and dread. And you don't know who to pity more: Shizuka, whose life is full of silent suffering, or Takopi, who is starting to lose his innocent grip on what happiness really means. So, here's where we left off Takopi. This cheerful octopus from Hapiana is desperate to make Shizuka smile. But no matter what he does, the darkness around her only deepens. The gadgets meant to bring joy seem useless in this world. Or worse, they cause more harm than good. Takopi's first real breaking point comes when he sees the full extent of Mari's cruelty. Shizuka had finally managed to complete a little art project, something she put her whole heart into. It was a picture for a school competition, a quiet, hopeful moment. And then, without warning, Mari rips it apart in front of the class. Laughs. Says, "You really thought anyone would care about your stupid drawing?" Shizuka doesn't say a word. She just quietly bends down to pick up the pieces. Takopi watches from the shadows, his little heart pounding. Something snaps. He doesn't understand why this girl keeps hurting Shizuka. He thinks if Mari wasn't here, maybe Shizuka could finally be happy. So he does the unthinkable. He follows Mari after school, still invisible to the adults, hovering above her. There's this heavy silence in the panels. You feel something is coming. Takopi pulls out one of his more advanced gadgets, one he never intended to use on anyone. He activates it. There's a flash. Mari dies, just like that. Quietly, without spectacle. Takopi doesn't even fully understand what he's done. He just knows that Mari is gone. The next morning, Shizuka arrives at school and learns the news. And here's where you expect her to smile, to finally feel safe, but instead, she breaks. She collapses. Her hands tremble. Her voice cracks. "What did you do?" Takopi tries to explain. He thought he'd done the right thing. He thought this would finally bring her peace. But Shizuka's reaction isn't gratitude, it's horror. "You killed her?" Takopi stutters. "She made you cry, she hurt you. I just wanted you to smile again." But all she says is, "I never asked you to do this." And that's when it truly hits him. What he's done can't be undone. He didn't save Shizuka. He traumatized her even more. So now, Takopi is full of guilt. Real crushing guilt. Something they never had on Hapiana. And in that guilt, he remembers one particular gadget. One that can reverse time. He activates it. And everything rewinds. Now the story enters a whole new phase, a psychological loop of desperation and tragedy. Takopi begins traveling back in time, trying to fix what he broke. Trying to find the perfect timeline where Shizuka can finally be happy, where no one gets hurt, where he doesn't have to cross the line again. But each time he resets the timeline, things go wrong in new ways. In one loop, he tries to make Mari and Shizuka become friends again. He uses gadgets to manipulate their emotions, to create fake happy moments. But the illusion collapses the moment he stops using the gadgets. The bitterness runs too deep. The wounds don't just go away with a smile. In another loop, he tries to be more careful. This time helping Shizuka by fixing things at home. He uses a gadget to make her mother more attentive. For a few hours it works. Her mother hugs her, talks to her like a real parent. But the happiness is fake. Shizuka can feel it. It doesn't last. It's not real. None of this is real. Takopi keeps trying, loop after loop, timeline after timeline. Each time, it ends in more heartbreak. Sometimes worse than the last. He even starts to question himself. He looks at his tentacles, his gadgets, his mission. Am I really helping her? Or am I just trying to make myself feel better? That question lingers, and then Shizuka starts asking questions too. She's not stupid. She realizes time keeps resetting. She starts remembering fragments from other timelines. Bits of trauma from timelines that technically never happened. But left scars anyway. She's scared, angry, exhausted. You're playing God. You think you can decide who lives and who dies. I didn't mean to. I just wanted you to be happy. Then stop. Stop trying. Let me deal with my life. It's not your job to fix it. But Takopi can't stop. He's become obsessed. Not just with saving Shizuka, but with saving himself from the truth that he's already caused irreversible harm. In one of the darkest timelines, things spiral so badly that Shizuka herself ends up doing something she can't take back. And Takopi realizes he's not preventing tragedy anymore. He's creating it. That's when the title Takopi's original sin really starts to make sense. It's not about violence. It's not even about time travel. It's about failing to understand, about thinking you know what's best for someone without really listening. Takopi, in his childlike innocence, tried to force a version of happiness onto someone who never asked for it, who needed something different, something more human. And that was his original sin. After countless time loops, heartbreaks, and missteps, Takopii is no longer the same white optimist who fell from the sky with a bag full of happiness gadgets. He's tired, broken. The smiles he once tried to share now feel empty. He looks at Shizuka, not the version he tried to fix, but the real girl, the one still standing despite everything, and realizes he was never truly helping her. All he ever did was try to erase her pain, to replace it with something easier. But pain doesn't just disappear. It has to be understood, faced, felt in Shizuka. She's exhausted too. Each timeline left a piece of itself behind in her mind. The deaths, the lies, the fleeting joy that always turned to ash. She begins to forget which version of reality she's in. Her memories blur together, the trauma compounding until it becomes unbearable. There's one moment quiet, no tears, where she looks at Takopi and says, "You said you wanted to make me happy, but I don't even know what that means anymore." Takopi doesn't respond. He just stares at her. For once, he has no gadget, no quick solution, no cheerful line to fall back on. He finally sees what he's done. Not just to her, but to himself. He's not a savior. He's part of the problem. So he makes a decision. He digs deep into his gadget bag and pulls out the one device he never used. Not even during the time loops. A gadget that can erase not just a moment or a memory, but an existence. A full reset. A timeline where he never landed on Earth, never met Shizuka, never interfered. But it's not just a self-sacrifice. It's not a martyr's move. It's a moment of understanding. He's not doing this to save her. He's doing it because it's not his story to fix. It never was. There's this final painful exchange between them. Takopi, his voice small. "I'm sorry for everything. I thought I understood, but I didn't." Shizuka looking at him, not with hate, not even anger. Just tired kindness. "You tried. That's more than most." And then he disappears. The timeline resets one final time. This time, Takopi never arrives on Earth. No gadgets, no time loops, no interference. And yet, something's different. Shizuka is still living a hard life. Her mother is still cold. School is still cruel. But this time, she stands a little straighter. There's no one to save her, and no illusions left. But maybe that's why, little by little, she begins to save herself. The story ends not with a grand rescue, not with magic, but with a quiet moment of resilience. Shizuka walks home alone under the gray sky, holding that same tattered stuffed dolphin in her arms. And she's not smiling. But she's not broken either. She's alive. And that, in the end, is enough. Takopi's original sin isn't about an alien who failed. It's about how trying to erase pain is not the same as helping someone heal. It's about how the road to happiness isn't smooth, magical, or easy. And it can't be given from the outside, especially not with a gadget. It has to be earned through understanding, through facing the darkness, through living. And for Takopi, the ultimate act of love wasn't saving Shizuka. It was stepping out of her story so she could finally write her own.